This video set establishes the fact that the great epic fight Mahabarath happened in South Tamil Nadu, contrary to the projected idea that it happened near Delhi. It was a war between the newly emerging agrarian community near Tirunelveli on the banks of Thamarabarni river and the mountain community of Kerala in today's districts Kollam, Alappuzha and Pathanamthitta. The name Tirunelveli itself is a proof that paddy cultivation was started first in India at this place 5,000 years ago. As a newly formed paddy field in the midst of the forest surrounding it, it had to be protected by a fence to keep the grazing cattle away from the crop. Hence, this place was called Nel Valley, meaning fence of paddy, after the notorious fence. The adjective Thiru was prefixed to the name later on, making it Tirunelveli. The agrarian community was called Pandya and it means agriculturist, which is described as Pandava in Mahabarath. The mountain community was called Koravar, which is described in Mahabarath as Kaurava. In the epic Mahabharata, Kauravas are described as evil people and Pandavas are described as virtuous people. However, it is generally observed that the winner writes history and depicts the losers as offenders. Hence, when we look at an event which happened 5,000 years ago, we cannot accept any prevalent version of the story without scrutiny. In fact, both of them might be right in their own way. We see even today that Kauravas of Kerala are still very conservative people. They respect nature and surprisingly don't worship their god with an image even today, despite being a common practice elsewhere in India. However, the newly emerging agrarian community was destroying forests for developing agricultural lands. This might have upset the ancient mountain dwellers who wanted to preserve nature. This could be one reason. Another aspect to the tussle could be as in the following. In the forest lands, there were two kinds of herder communities. The Ayers were cow herders, the Yadavas were the goat herders. These are two different and distinct cultures. They might have shared the same pasturing lands, but most likely lived in different localities. The Ayers would have changed the milk products with the goat meat from the Yadava community. Following Mallas, who were the Pandyas, the original agriculturists from Sri Lankan region, the Ayers of South Tamil Nadu also adapted to agriculture as they had bulls in their possession. That is how Krishna's brother Balarama is having a plough as his weapon to signify his involvement in agriculture. But Yadavas, the goat herders, could not have adapted to agriculture as they don't have bulls with them and they don't know how to tame them also. Hence, the Yadavas would have obviously resisted converting forests into agricultural lands. There is no gain for them and they lose significant pasturing area for the cattle in converting forests as agricultural lands. Thus, there should have been a tremendous conflict of interest in those times. Each group would have its own justification in supporting or resisting agriculture and accordingly formed alliances. Hence, we cannot blame any side of the Mahabharata war as bad. Each side might have had their own justifications. I have to make this explicit disclaimer when I intend to research on Mahabharata, which depicts Kauravas as bad. From the foregoing, it is obvious that the original epic Mahabharata was built upon real history and it is not a mythological fiction. But the existing Sanskrit version sounds more as a mythology rather than a history. The reason for that is that the Sanskrit version was made with many purposes. While Mahabharata was an ancient Tamil epic, by adopting and rewriting it, the Brahmins reaped twofold gains. They intentionally deprived Tamils of the solid evidence to prove themselves an ancient community. At the same time, the Brahmins could falsely establish that they are the ancient people of India. The second purpose helps the Brahmins to corrupt the minds of the people of this subcontinent using this epic to achieve their political dominance. Corrupting the Indian minds have huge dividends for them, and we would discuss the full ramifications of it at suitable times. Gambling, sexual perversion, genocide, disgusting Kshatriya Dharma and Manu Dharma are the Illuminati fingerprints which permeates all through the narration of the epic. The Puranas were said to have been written during Gupta regime, that is around 5th century AD, and that means we see Illuminati fingerprint as early as 5th century AD in India. Oh well, that's a surprising point to ponder. When a historic epic is hijacked and relocated, the real events could not fit in the new spatial location and the new ethical location. Hence, it has to be a mythical epic, and it was so made obviously. This is what is the Sanskrit Mahabharata. That is how bad and evil people do penance on gods and get boons too. A laughable conception. That's how full-grown babies are landing on the human hands just on murmuring some mantra. That's how one gets a variety of weapons within seconds just by murmuring some mantra. That's how one creates cities within minutes on murmuring some mantra. That's how one woman marries 5 men out of the spill of a tongue.
அம்மா கன்னியை பரிசாக கொண்டு வந்திருக்கிறோம். கன்னியை பரிசாக கொண்டு வந்திருக்கிறோம்.
கனியை பகிர்ந்து கொள்ளுங்கள். கனியை பகிர்ந்து கொள்ளுங்கள்.
That's how a king loses his kingdom and his other possessions through gambling. The concepts that could sprout only from sick minds. That is how Vedavyasa expanded 10,000 verses of the original Tamil version to 100,000 verses while translating into Sanskrit. Obviously, there are 3 different versions of Mahabharata. 1. The real historical facts. 2. The dramatized version of history originally written in Tamil. 3. The expanded and Sanskritized version known today. We do not know what happened to the original Tamil version of the Mahabharata drama. I also do not know how it was narrated in the original Tamil version. But using the Sanskrit version itself, I can get very close to what actually happened when it happened. I am rewriting history. This is what is the objective of my research on Mahabharata. I am using this basic story and link it to archaeological facts, hereditary info, literary evidence, and linguistic evidence to establish the real history surrounding Mahabharata epic. When I say linguistic evidence, I mean etymology of names. Tamil words are like time capsules and retain historical facts. All the characters of the drama were named after their attributes, and all the names are Tamil names. What surprised me was that even the episodes and names inserted by the Brahmins when translating and expanding into Sanskrit were chaste Tamil words. This proves that the underlying linguistic base of North India, even during the 5th century AD, was an unmistakable Tamil. This video, which is titled as General Perspective and Disclaimer, formed the first part of the video set. The Mahabharata refers to races of people called Naga, Yaksha, Chera, and Pandya. The Mahabharata treats Nagas as snakes, which is amusingly stupid. Nagas are the first race of humans on this planet who later became cattle herders. Naga race also gave rise to Yakka, the race of mountain dwellers. I have thoroughly described as to how these names emerged. These were already published with the title Amazing Primitive History of Mankind. It is a very important video which should be watched by every human. I treat this video the second part of the Mahabharata video set. If you have already watched this video, I request you to watch it again to fully grasp the decipherment of Mahabharata. Next, Mahabharata also discusses the Yuga concept. There are 5 Yugas: Kreta Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga, and Satya Yuga. Mahabharata is said to have happened in Dwapara Yuga. After the death of Krishna, Kali Yuga is said to have commenced. Yuga concept should have been put forth by Krishna, who was a great intellectual. The Kali Yuga, which was marked by falsehood and the human sufferings, has come to an end when the Mayan calendar ended on 2012. Following the end of Mayan calendar, Satya Yuga, the 5th Yuga, has already started. It is governed by truth, love, and well-being of the whole of humanity. The internet is symbolizing truth, and we are already starting to see the defeat of the dark forces. I would soon release a video on the 5 Yuga concept explaining the true meaning of each Yuga. The amazing 5 Yuga concept of Krishna would be the title, and it would form part 3 of the Mahabharata video set. This video is an extraordinary video in understanding the history of not just India, but also the world at large. These 2 videos would convince the viewers to accept that Mahabharata indeed happened in South Tamil Nadu, while it helps to understand history too. These 2 videos would form the basis on which my research on Mahabharata is built upon. Hence, after you watch these 2 videos, we would then embark on decoding of Mahabharata. By looking through the epic, we are going to extract the true history behind the epic, and we are also going to see how the world events are related to Mahabharata. That would be an interesting part of the series too. The Tamil version of this video would be published soon. Happy watching.